now you're zip tied and you're in the trunk. The vehicle is moving. So do you A, kick up as hard as you can to try and escape from the trunk, or B, maybe try and kick out the brake lights?
I'd try and kick out the brake lights because there's more chance that a cop is going to be able to, stop. There will be a chance the cop will be able to stop them if they see a light out, or and also, what are the chances of me being able to kick out of a trunk?
Slim to none, because there's actually, for you especially, there is zero room for you to rear back and hit the trunk. I mean, the trunk is probably going to be, as it gets closed, it's probably going to be sitting on your shoulder. You know what I mean? It's not like you've got a lot of space to build up any momentum in any of your limbs in order to break something, other than maybe the back seats, which we can talk about. But the brake light. So older model cars, you used to be able to kick out the entire brake light, and then you could stick your arm out and actually wave, right? And people could see an arm hanging out. Now these days with these newer cars, it's pretty much closed up. The frame is right there, but you can pull the wiring harness, and totally kill the brake light, so that hopefully a cop sees that or someone sees that and reports it. So yeah, you got to get creative in the trunk for sure. But yeah, some simple stuff. So you're still zip tied, hands behind your back, by the way, and you notice a greasy rag, a bob pen, and a can of compressed air. The keyboard cleaner kind of compressed air in the trunk with you. So maybe you can use that stuff later. Hint, hint. The car slows to a stop and the assailants get out. You hear them greeted by a dog, right? So there's a dog in the area. Then their voices fade, and now you have to get these zip ties, off your wrists. So do you A, roll on your side, or B, roll on your stomach?
Ooh. This is a guess now. Say I'd roll on my side.
Yeah. Exactly. But think about it. The trunk first, like we already know, there's not a whole lot of space to be rolling on your stomach.
Yeah.
And,
the trunk is going to be longer that way, right?
Yeah.
So rather than if I'm on my stomach again, how am I going to move? I'm not going to be able to get in it, but at least on my side, I can bring my legs up.
That's right. Now you're thinking. So rolling on your side will help you reposition your hands to the front, right? If your hands are behind your back, one of the first things you should work on is okay, how do I get out of them and get out of them in an efficient way? And that is to pull your hands down around your ass to the back of your knees, pull your knees up to your chest, and then your feet through your wrists, and now your hands are up front. And this is, not everyone can pull this off, especially in a confined environment. But it can be done. And for those listening, this is something you can do with the family on a Friday night, zip tie each other up and see who can pull their ass through their hands, because that's the hardest part of the whole thing. Once you get them to behind your knees, and it's a lot easier after that. So anyway, with your wrists now in front of you, you have a better chance of defeating the restraints. So do you A, try to bite through the restraints because they're zip ties, or B, use one of the objects you saw in the trunk to defeat the zip ties?
Well, I'd definitely say the second, because I've tried to, you can't bite through those zip ties, especially with British teeth. It doesn't matter that they're jagged. Yeah, so I'd definitely use whatever tools we have there to get out of them.
If you really pay attention to how zip ties work, it's a very simple little mechanism. There's a little piece of plastic in there that operates as a ratchet, and that little piece of plastic gets hung on the teeth, right? So that's what makes the clicking sound. So all you're going to do is take the bobby pin, slide it in between the teeth and the ratchet, and all of a sudden your zip ties come free, right? So you got to take a look at these things and get a bobby pin and play with it, and you'll see just how easy it is to get out of these things. So those of you listening, take time, look at that stuff. All right, so now your hands are free. So A, kick and push ferociously on the trunk lid and car seat to try and find a way out, or B, take a moment and assess. See if there's any other objects you can use to help your escape.
I definitely take the second. Yeah, I definitely assess that, and look at the other things in the trunk. I have an idea of what I could use in the trunk, and now you gave me that. But
Yeah.
I'll wait and see. I'm sure there are going to be other questions coming.
Yeah,
But yeah.
No, you're right. You're spot on. Your hands are free. You assess, and there's a car jack. Most car jacks, there's a car jack in the trunk sitting there with you. Sometimes it's under you, and it can be a little bit of an obstacle to try and get your body weight off of that false cover to get to it. But usually those false covers are kind of made out of like this, high density cardboard if it's a cheaper car. And then some of them are plastic. It's an actual plastic door, trap door you can lift open. But that car jack, man, it's a great tool. It's easy. It allows you to save your energy. Basically, set it up and start cranking away. Every now and then you got to get creative because the jack won't extend as high as the height from the bottom of the trunk to the top of the bottom of the actual trunk compartment to the actual trunk lid can sometimes exceed the height of the jack. So then what you do is you just have to stack something up. And usually in a trunk, you've got a tire, you've got other things you can actually stack up. And now you just start cranking away, and mechanically you're going to pop the trunk open. And now you've still got energy to do whatever needs to be done when you get out, which could be, I don't know. We'll find out. So here we go. The trunk pops open. All right. So A, run like hell, or B, take objects with you that could help continue your escape, which maybe wink, wink, can of air.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly not going to run like hell if there's a dog around. That's for sure. So I'm gonna try and find any kind of weapon that would or tool that would be useful for me to proceed to the next problem solving.
There you go. Yeah, you're once again, you're dead on here. Yeah, while a quick escape is important, you're not going to outrun a dog, and you don't know if you're inside of a fence line. You don't know what's going to come your way. So you kind of have to have the mentality of, as soon as the lid opens, I'm going into fight mode. And one of the things that can help is certainly that can of compressed air, because when you turn it upside down, it lets out a freezing mist. And one of the tricks we used to use if we were going into an occupied target, whether it had, people asleep or a dog, and you knew there was a dog, you could crack that door open where that dog's nose is right there, turn that can of air upside down, and then freeze their nose. And we did it one night, froze the nose, and then when you come back again, that dog is like, nope, don't want my nose frozen again. They don't even mess with you. Now, if it's a trained Mike Ritland dog, then that might not work. But with your average guard dog, freezing their nose goes a long ways. And you're not having to kill the dog or drug the dog or do something stupid to the dog, because we all love dogs. So do you, I just gave it up. I just got on a rant. So do you A, throw the can of air at the dog, or B, turn the can over and spray the freezing cold air in the dog's face? Well, I already answered that for you, so that's a gimme. So you neutralize the dog and you take off running. As you round a corner, okay, you run straight into one of these bad guys, and now he's pointing a gun at your chest. Okay, so do you A, kick him in the nuts, or B, you want to basically trap, pivot, and strip the gun from him?
Well, I don't have the skill to trap and pivot the gun. I mean, for me, all I'm thinking right now is I just want that away from my chest, right, as best as I can possibly get it.
Yeah.
So I know that's not one of the options.
It kind of is. It kind of, because you're trapped. If you're going to grab the gun in any way, that's really trapping the gun. Yeah. Right.
I just want to get him like if I can get that weapon away. Like, I can't take a shot to the chest, but I can. It's not going to kill me if it hits me in the arm,
right?
As we've seen from things that are going on right now in the media. So I just want to. As long as I can get that gun away from my center mass or from my head or anything like that. That's what I do. I say when kick him, because they might pull the trigger if I kick him in the nuts. It might go like that. You know,
That's right. That's
so,
right. Yeah, I think process of elimination, B is right. And you pivot and trap. Trapping the gun just means, okay, I just got to get my hands on it. Number 2, the pivot is what gets your body out of the way so it's not pointed at you any longer. You can also drive it to the sky or drive it to the ground. In these situations, there's no right or wrong. It's just come out alive is the goal. You're listening to Can You Survive This Podcast? Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and share on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.